What's up, deviants? Welcome back to the Naughty Corner on Wanneroo Country. This is Courtesan Session, and Ben is back, and his front and his voice have all returned. So we are thrilled for that.
Welcome to the Naughty Corner.
I don't know if I've done this segment with you yet. It is basically when people are so shit that it's determined that this familial line can possibly not continue. So it's called This DNA Ends Here.
I know a couple of those.
The first one, my boyfriend, 25 male, told me he's leaving in 6 months to marry someone else after my third miscarriage.
Damn.
You understand the accuracy of the segment. Hi, everyone. I, 25 female, have been in a relationship with my boyfriend, 25 male, for about 5 years. Recently, I suffered my third miscarriage, and it's been an incredibly painful experience, both physically and emotionally. A few days ago, my boyfriend told me that he plans to leave in 6 months because he's going to marry someone else. He said he wants to stay with me until then to help me heal. I'm heartbroken, confused, and don't know how to process any of this. I still love him, but knowing he's planning a future with someone else while staying with me for now feels unbearable. Has anyone been through something similar or have advice on how to cope and move forward from something like this? You know that board is for a specific segment, right? Not just to keep your hands busy while I'm reading.
It was intended for a specific segment.
ADHD fuck. To be fair, we film most of these late at night after the kids have gone to bed when our medication has long since worn off.
I haven't taken medication today.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, 3 miscarriages. People are forever like, oh, it's an inhospitable environment. 9 times out of 10, particularly early stage miscarriages, are due to defective sperm.
And in this case, maybe it's just inhospitable for that guy's jizz in particular. Your body is like, hey, this is not what you want to reproduce with.
Yeah, like the inhospitable environment is the house you live in with this douchebag. It's like, no, we couldn't possibly have a child in this house. Like, evacuate.
If this guy is on the lease, you need to get yourself off. But if you're not on it, just walk out the fucking front door. It is going to be better for it to happen now than it is for in 6 months, where you're essentially going to end up with Stockholm Syndrome.
Well, I feel like she's already there. Like this whole wants to stay with me until then to help me heal. Like, bro, you're the cause. Like, no matter what facet you're looking at here, you sticking around longer is only going to make shit worse.
Yes, but what I mean by the Stockholm Syndrome of it all is just he's planning on leaving. If you're already in a situation where you're like, hey, I don't want to be with this person because they're planning on leaving me, there's a lot of people that would end up with somewhat of a rose tint after the 6 months, or as they go through the 6 months, because it's like, hey, maybe he's going to change his mind. A lot of people don't like to change the status quo, and a lot of people just don't like the alteration and think, hey, I can fix them. I can fix this problem.
Yeah, humans are inherently creatures of habit. Like, once we get ourselves into some sort of structure and routine, it's not really something that we want to be actively changing. She says specifically, like, she still really loves him. No, she doesn't.
And also, this is specifically to this lady. Remember that if you get a good handful of apple seeds and put them into a cup of tea, it'll do some nice things to that guy.
For those who don't own chickens, apple seeds contain cyanide.
I thought it was arsenic. Either way, and to be fair, not something I learned from chickens. It's something I learned growing up when I was told, hey, do not eat the apple core. Because it's also not good for people, not just chicken.
Well, the point of what I was saying when I said that she doesn't love him, people think that love is, exciting and it's the butterflies, but inherent in love is safety. And in order to feel safe, life has to be boring and comfortable. And that's what that whole structure and the stability of things staying the same provides. So that whole my life will change if we break up, she's mistaking that for love. Like the status quo that she's feeling now that she doesn't want to change, That's not love, that's just habit.
And to be fair, I am going to have to partly disagree with you, because there are some people that their status quo is not a stable situation, and not always in a negative way either. There are some people that their status quo is a lot of traveling and a lot of moving around and never really being in the same place. But if you're with somebody that you genuinely love, then you're going to be able to do all that stuff and still be able to be comfortable in an erratic situation.
Yeah, but literally what you've described is by definition reinforcing what I said. Like, just because you have a more erratic lifestyle, like if that is your status quo, then it is still at the base of it what you're used to that you don't want to change.
But you've said that love is boring and going through the boring situations. Doesn't have to be.
What I mean is the consistency of what the relationship feels like. There is a sense of safety in it that no matter what we're doing, no matter how erratic our situations, no matter where we travel to, then I can always trust you to be you and us to be us in exactly what we are, however we interact with each other, no matter what's happening at the time. Like, that's the stability, the comfort and safety of knowing that exactly what you've expected day to day from this person is exactly what you'll get tomorrow.
And for those of you who don't know me, I am also the flip of that, because I may be me constantly, but the me I am is a different person also constantly.
It's like having a Rolodex. Just spin it to figure out what personality you're getting today.
Yeah, or as the nicer way you like to put it, I am a social capybara, because I just kind of fit into whatever situation I need to, because this is fine.
I have no natural predator here.
I'm 6'2" and 130. I don't really have a natural predator.
I like it's I can't say I like it. It's interesting that you went with your height and weight as opposed to the fact that you're white and a dude. And that is what gives you no natural predator.
No, because when I was younger and not as big a guy, I did have natural predators, and I was still white and a dude. So it is being a big guy, being white and a dude also does help, but being a big guy also does really help. When I was growing up, there was a rash of situations of people of color being attacked in my local area. The thing that most people didn't realize with it was also the smaller guys of this nationality that were being attacked, because there was one guy that lived on the same road as these fellas who was just like taller than me and stockier than me, and nobody ever touched him because might not have been white, still huge fucking dude. What I'm saying is, being white and a dude helps. Being a hard target to hit also is a very big help in the situation.
Also, when we're talking natural predators, then obviously physical safety is very different from the overall societal structures safety.
Yeah, but honestly, being this big gives me the confidence more than being white and a dude.
Well, that's because you've never not been. So it's one of those you probably don't realize it does until...
And I'm never going to do any kind of thing to make me not be a white dude, because I am not getting cancelled for being Robert Downey Jr.
Well, Robert Downey Jr. didn't get cancelled for being Robert Downey Jr., but
probably
obviously
should have been. He'd been cancelled for some level for that movie.
Well, I mean, he's been cancelled multiple times. Like, Iron Man got him back after drug addiction and rehab.
Yeah.
That's why they got him so cheap.
They didn't even get him cheap. Realistically, he's still making a mint on that movie. He got given a percentage deal.
It was only 2% of T-shirts.
Really?
That's all he asked for.
To be fair, that's still a really good amount, considering I Am Iron Man is a fucking huge thing.
Yeah, but it's one of those, Nepo baby perks. Daddy taught him well.
Who's his dad?
Robert Downey Sr.?
Okay.
Robert...
Sorry. Why should I know his dad?
Also an actor.
Okay. I've never heard of Robert Downey Sr. apart from the fact that there's Robert Downey Jr. And realistically, I don't like the fact that we call them Robert Downey Seniors or anything seniors. It's just, there's the guy, then there's Junior. You are adding the senior to yourself for having a child. Don't do that. That's a schmuck move. Also, if you're a junior, your child is not a junior.
I feel like by definition, like if you're white, it's the law. It has to be a junior.
If you're white, it's the third.
No, well, it depends on how much money you have. That's when socioeconomic status comes into play there. But yeah, in general, I can guarantee you, as someone who has had to heal from shit around both cunts and saints, the easiest way to heal is in an empty fucking house with no pressures on you to perform in any way, shape, or form, where you can just be the ratchet mess that you fucking are until you are well and truly ready to be socializing again in any way, shape, or form. But I guarantee you, having that creature in your house is going to be more difficult than if you'd actually fucking had a baby.
Also, he's a shit cunt.
Yeah, you don't need any of those in your house. Next up on This DNA Ends Here, I, 24 male, caught my sister, 26 female, trying to steal a watch of mine, and now my mother wants me to apologize to her.
No, go fuck yourself.
And this is coming from Best of Redditor update. We have, like, multiple updates since the original post. The original post was from the 3rd of August 2015.
Shield as fuck.
My God. So last night I had some people over to celebrate moving into my new place. I had some family and friends, including my sister and my mother. When I was growing up with my sister, she would often steal from myself and other family members. Money from my mum's purse or dad's wallet. She'd sneak into my room and take things, steal money from our grandparents, etc. We aren't very close because of this, and I always try to keep an eye on her when she's around. Despite this, I decided to invite my sister over because she doesn't live too far away, and I know my mum would have been upset if I didn't. I put all of my watches and valuables in my safe, but I left out the watch I had planned on wearing that night, but ended up not wearing it and leaving it on my dresser. At one point during the party, my sister asked me where the bathroom was, and I pointed down the hallway and told her the bathroom was on the left. A couple of minutes later, I went to go and grab something from my room and saw her come out of my room as I was walking down the hall. She gave me this startled deer-in-the-headlights look and said she was looking for the bathroom and walked away really quickly. I immediately got worried and went to do a quick look around my room. I immediately noticed the watch missing from the top of my dresser. This isn't some cheap $20 watch. I paid over $30,000 for it earlier this year. I left my room and went straight to my sister to confront her. I pulled her off to the side so it wouldn't cause a scene and told her I knew she took my watch, and if she gave it back right then, I wouldn't call the cops. She got extremely defensive and started yelling about how she didn't take shit from me, how I'm an asshole, etc. At this point, a lot of people were staring and listening. She told me she was leaving and started heading towards the door. I knew if she left, I might never see my watch again, so I grabbed her purse from her and dumped everything on the ground. Sure enough, there is my watch right there on the ground with the rest of the stuff from her purse. My sister screamed at me and called me a fucking asshole and scooped up most of her stuff and ran out of my place. My mum followed her out and ended up not returning to the party. So after an awkward rest of the party, I got a call from my mum. She was mad at me. I got some long lecture about how I didn't need to humiliate my sister in front of everyone at the party, how she couldn't help herself, and my sister is crying and upset now because of the scene I caused. She also got mad at me for going through my sister's purse and told me that I should never look in a lady's purse and that it was a complete invasion of privacy. First of all, I tried to pull my sister off to the side. She was the one who started yelling at me and causing a scene that made everyone look over at her. I also wouldn't have had to go through her purse if she didn't steal from me and deny it and try to leave. I'm also not going to risk losing a $30,000 watch because I shouldn't look through a lady's purse. So now my mum wants me to not only apologise to my sister, but to tell all the guests that were there that it was a big misunderstanding and my sister didn't take anything. I'm not really sure what to do about my mum. There is no way I'm going to apologise to my sister. She should be the one apologising to me. I'm certainly not going to lie to my guests to get my sister out of the awkward mess she created for herself. I also don't know what to do about my sister. At this point, I'm pretty much just done with her. I think she should be the one apologising, but I doubt she will ever do that. Thanks in advance for any advice.
All right, so 3 things. First of all, and we don't get any context for this, but apart from she does this a lot, kleptomania is a real concerning thing. If your sister is doing this because she has an actual condition, an actual issue, she needs to get help. Still shit, but she does need to get help. Second of all, you never went through your sister's purse. When she lied to you, you dumped her purse on the floor.
Technicalities. The best kind of correct.
And 3, and this is just a me thing, fuck off with your $30,000 watch. That is a luxury car, or a decently luxury car.
Yes, pretentious wankery aside, like you're not an asshole for not apologizing to your sister, but you.
Look, I know that this is all about cutting off the
What I'm saying is
genetics.
poor people don't have these problems.
Oh, we definitely have this problem. Like, back in the day, I'd throw hands for $100 watch.
Before that $20 cheap ass watch.
This whole segment's about ending a line. It sounds like there's 3 parts of a line that should have been ended, and it would have been better if we ended at the mum, and we didn't end up with both of them.
Yeah, because she created the both of them.
Yep.
That both have their own fucking issues, and she's clearly got plenty of her own. Like, this is a dude, I suppose, and I only grew up with sisters. But, like, I see my sister knowing who my sister is. Now, for starters, I'm keeping her fucking stalked going around my house at all times from the get-go because I know better. But also, she's coming out of my room, like, I'm immediately throwing her into a wall and she's pinned to the ground with her arm behind her back. And I'm like, I will literally have this loogie going into your fucking ear if you don't tell me what the fuck you were doing in my bedroom. And then I would legit, like, she'd be fucking hogtied at the foot of my bed while I look around taking fucking inventory. And, like, I'm autistic. I know what the fuck is in my room where every single thing is.
And I'm ADHD. I definitely know how to hog tie.
Well, and the, you know, like, your entire side of the bed is fucking trashed. But if I asked you for anything, you'd be like, yeah, go into the drawer and under here and on the side on the left, you'll find several paper clips. Like,
Yep.
You know.
I used to be able to do it with full industrial freezers.
Yeah, so it's like, it's just sibling justice, man. You fucking get what you get if you want to play that shit, right? And so as soon as I saw there was a $30,000 watch missing, I'd be like, okay, cool. Well, we can sit here as long as it's going to take for you to tell me where the fuck that watch is.
You're either going to tell me where this watch is, or we're going to throw hands.
Well, if she's hogtied at the foot of the bed, I'd be like, well, we can sit here until we both fucking starve. I don't even care.
No, I said what I said. I'm going to throw hands.
Well, even if it was Lacey.
Yeah.
Well, especially if it was Lacey, she'd break the hog tie. But, like, you'd never be able to keep her in that.
I'd use that cord rope that we got from Japan. That thing's nice and sturdy.
I still think she could get out of it. She's skilled.
I'm real good with knots. I should have been a scout. We've been through this already.
You were a scout.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, Red Cross.
I was
John's.
a St. John's student, which means I was taught first aid.
Whatever. He was a fucking nerd. Like,
No.
still he's a nerd.
No. So here's the thing. My mum sent me to St. John's because my sister got sent to St. John's because my sister was actually interested in it. They sent me to St. John's for the same reason they sent me to karate, because they thought it would help me learn some discipline and calm the fuck down.
It did not.
But the thing is that most karates and most St. John's for junior departments have a bunch of kids. And back in the day when I went, because this is 20 odd years ago now, you have a bunch of kids that all their parents are sending them there for the exact same reason, because you've got a bunch of undiagnosed, unmedicated ADHD kids just run fucking laps of the place. It's not a good idea. Nowadays, a lot more so. A little better idea, because...
No, you can't make me better, but I can make others worse.
Yeah. I was asked to not come back.
Point of order. I would fuck up a sibling. Like, there would be no calling out publicly. It would just be straight. Like, I would just do a violence, because that's how we roll here in Australia with our siblings. Like, it's... You fucking get what you get. Like, I'm sitting on you, farting on you until you throw up my fucking watch.
Point of order. I would do that to my sister. It's a lot more of a crime if I do it to my brother.
Oh, because he's a minor.
Yes, because he's a minor.
Update number 1, 6th of August, 2015. So that's 3 days later. I invited my mum to lunch so we could discuss what happened at the party and where to go from there. I explained to her that my sister stole a very expensive watch from me. It wasn't just some trinket, and it shouldn't matter even if it was. I tried to pull her away and confront her in private, but she chose to yell and curse at me and cause a scene. I told her that I understand it's never okay to look into someone's private purse or bag, but that sort of etiquette goes out the window when there's tens of thousands of dollars of my stolen property in her purse. My mum went on a long rant about how we're all family and that her and my sister believe that a family should share in each other's success. That's just the fucking calling card of the chronic masturbator. Like, it's just, you should share it with me because I don't have it and you do. And it's like, can't work for it. Like, just the assumption that everything someone has earned is just luck, therefore you should just pass it on to people who aren't bothering to actually change their own life themselves.
That being said, if I win the lotto, don't come to me for a handout. Even if that's just luck. Like, most people that would come to me for a handout, they can fuck off.
She told me that my sister was just upset because I was hoarding all of my money for myself and that it's understandable what she did. She said that I would never have gotten where I am today without all the work she put into raising me and the influence her and my sister had on my life. Then she went on to tell me that I owe it to her to evenly share my success with her and my sister since we have family, and they would certainly do the same in my position. That's a laugh. At this point, I'm pretty dumbfounded, not only because she thinks my sister's actions were somehow justified, but because she credits herself for my success and thinks it's selfish of me to not share with her and my sister. And don't even get me started on her trying to act like her and my sister would do the same. I know for a fact my sister wouldn't give me a dime if I were 10 cents short for a heart transplant. And my mum still owes me tens of thousands of dollars that she borrowed and swore, yeah, it's poetry. She borrowed and swore she would pay back. I don't expect it back and wrote it off as soon as I gave it to her. I just can't even fathom how my mum could actually think like that. At that point, I was so furious and I didn't want to say anything I'd regret, so I got up and walked out. Oh yeah, I also got a text half an hour later saying that I owed her money for lunch since I was the one who invited her, despite the fact that neither of us had even ordered before I left. As far as my sister goes, I haven't contacted her and she hasn't contacted me. At this point, I'm just done with her in my life. I don't know if I should do the same for my mother, though. I would hate to not have a relationship with her, but I can't believe how she could possibly think those things. Would love some advice on what to do as far as my relationship with my mother goes. Thanks.
When somebody has when somebody's been bitten by a snake on the leg, the idea of people sucking the blood out is a terrible thing. It'll just kill everyone. What you're actually is a great idea for it is you cut the infected leg off. And that's what you need to do. This is a mound of diseased flesh that you need to cut off of your life. That is just, unfortunately, in the form of your mother and sister.
Yeah, it's one of those that, like, you can see why that... Is that meant to be the pigeon that you shouldn't let drive the bus? Oh, fuck. If you just don't know that...
We did that story last week in a class I was in.
Yeah, it's a really common picture book here. Don't let the pigeon drive the bus. And then there's just a whole series of books of pigeon doing shit that he's not qualified for. So if you're not Australian, you don't know that book. Soz, you have to Google it. The mother made the daughter, and so if you're not coping with your sister, then you're not going to be getting any sort of different responses from your mother. So if you're fairly confident that you don't want anything to do with your sister, then automatically that kind of means you don't want anything to do with your mother. Now, I'm a cunt. That's why the whole premise of this podcast is assholes judging assholes, and why the set is called The Naughty Corner. So I could not give less of a shit how I am related to somebody. Like, I had cousins get shitty that they weren't invited to my wedding, and I'm like, dude, I don't think I've ever met you in my life. Like, because my family are Irish Catholic, we're fucking everywhere. I have nothing to do with my father. There's so many people that are just assume. I have zero sense of familial obligation. No, if you're a cunt, I don't have time or energy for you, regardless of how adjacently we've shared a vagina. It's just not relevant to me.
It's very much the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb.
Correct.
Your chosen people are more important than the people you were born to. Because that's just circumstantial. Just because I happen to come out of your vag doesn't mean you're not a cunt. And I'm not saying that about my own mother.
Yeah, she gets fairly upset when mother-in-laws are mentioned, and I have very strong opinions about mother-in-laws, and I feel like she's waiting for like a confirmation that I'm not talking about her.
Oh no, she's not waiting for it. I've actively had to give her that confirmation.
And it's like, dude, I specifically mentioned a drug addict and an old British woman. Like, you're neither of those things. Like,
no, but one of them was the other woman that raised me. I wasn't old at the time, isn't it?
Edit. Small update I thought I'd post. She called me, but I didn't want to talk, so I let it go to voicemail. She left a voicemail telling me to check my email. Here is me. Fucking hell.
This is a meeting that could have been.
Could have been an email. Could this email could have been a text? Could that text just never have been sent? Like that's.
And I swear, if this email was actually trying to organize a meeting.
First of all, it was very rude of you to walk out on me at the cafe. I was humiliated, and you should know better than to treat your mother like that. As I said in the text, you owe me money for lunch since you were the one who invited me, so please bring $60 to give me at Craig's barbecue. It is a shame that I even need to be telling you this. I know I raised you better than that, but you really need to start supporting this family. We are all one, and the success of any individual needs to be spread around the family. Your sister works as a pastry chef. She's got a serious stealing issue, and she's a pastry chef. She can fucking afford that. Depending on where you are, you get fucking paid bank for that shit.
She's literally making dough.
It is so hard to become a pastry chef. Like, the apprenticeships are so fucking hard to get because the standard is always so high. She's got thieving money. She's got rehab money to fix I almost said nymphomania and then I said necrophilia. I'm like, it's neither of those. Kleptomania is what we're going for. Fuck. That's a whole different problem. Though being a pastry chef would probably solve that too. She could, yeah. But bro, pastry chef, well done. Your sister works as a pastry chef and is always more than happy to bake for everyone and brings us treats from work. I wish you would do the same. You can start out by helping me with the new apartment I'm moving into. The rent is $42.50 per month, not including utilities. I'm planning on moving in around the 1st of September, so that gives you plenty of time to set up some sort of monthly bank transfer. I'm going to need $8,500 in the first 2 weeks for the first and last month's rent. I'll also need you to come over a few times a month to help move my stuff over there. Bring the bigger truck, unless that's the manual, because Todd doesn't know how to drive stick. Of course he fucking does, whoever the fuck Todd is. Either way, Americans don't know how to fucking work a manual. As a thanks for moving my things over there, I will cover the security deposit myself, so you don't even need to worry about it. Oh, thank you so much! That's so kind. Considerate. Thank you so much for paying your own fucking security deposit. And you still haven't apologized to sister's name, so please get that done this week. It will take 5 minutes tops, so just get it done. It was wrong to humiliate her like that. Guess who had to be the one comforting her? Me, like usual. Text me to confirm you got everything and let me know how soon you can bring the big truck over. So that's the end of the email, and then it goes back to OP's words. I should also mention that I currently pay for her rent. After some long guilt trip about how she gave me free food and housing for over 18 years, it's time for me to repay the favour. I can clearly see now that that was a big mistake. Now she assumes I'm going to pay for her rent at some new huge place that costs twice as much and she doesn't need. At this point, I'm done giving her any support, clearly, as she has no appreciation for it. It's just a taste of how my mum acts. She is extremely entitled and just expects everything in life to be given to her.
How rich are these fuckers? Like, he's got a 30 grand watch. His mum's expecting him to, on top of, I'm assuming, paying a mortgage, because there's no way you're buying a 30 grand watch and renting.
Well, he had a housewarming. So usually you don't tend to have a housewarming for rentals. Well, at least not here. And, I did say, Americans and whatnot. But for all we know, this is in a very different country where, like, $82.50 ain't that much.
That being said,
$42.50.
there are only like 4 countries in the world that still use dollars.
Well, yeah, but there's been no dollars here. Although I suppose there is a dollar sign.
Yeah.
So that is dollars, yeah.
So it means it's basically Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada. And all 4 of those, over $1,000 a week is fucking ridiculous. Unless you're...
We're getting that here with our cost of living crisis.
I know. Unless you're living like smack bang in the middle of a large city, that's fucking ridiculous. But also, your mum's a grown-ass woman. She's the one that had you. That wasn't your call. And she can pay for her own shit. Mind you, this was 11 years ago, 10 and a half years ago. I really hope you're not still paying your mummy's rent.
Oh, now? Oh, yeah, since this was 2015. Another edit. So I just sent my mum an email letting her know I will not be giving her any money. I will not be paying the rent for a new, more expensive apartment you want to move into. Not only will I not be paying for that, but I won't be paying your rent for any apartment anymore. You will have to do that yourself. In addition to that, I will not be giving you any money whatsoever. You have shown that you have no respect for me or the work it takes to earn money, and I cannot continue to pay for things you don't need. I know this means cutting back a bit, but there is no reason for you to be living outside your means, and I won't subsidize your expensive lifestyle. I wrote it all out completely different, but that's the gist of what I told her. So, waiting for the freak out, I'm sure, is going to happen.
Yeah,
Well, well done for your newly found shiny spine.
he has his own expensive lifestyle for fun. Yeah, I can't think. I'm still stuck on a fucking $30,000 watch. Like, I don't think I've ever spent that much money on anything.
The closest we came was $21,000, rebuild a 10-foot high retaining wall. Landscaping in general is pretty expensive. And we were coming out of COVID where just everyone was an absolute slut for a Bunnings trip. And everyone was doing like upgrades to their houses because house prices were going through the roof, and a really well landscaped yard, like it really does blow up the amount that you can put when you are putting your house up for sale.
And now those people are having to hire professionals to fix the shit that they fucked up because they were following YouTube guides. And that doesn't end well. It's like the people that did their hair during COVID. I can't talk on that one. I also started doing my hair during COVID. But I do a much easier cut. And I was very willing to go bald if I messed it up.
That's the most expensive thing that it's the most expensive thing that we've paid all at once.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I mean, shit, even both of our cars cost less than that retaining wall, like together. Update 2, 8th of August, 2015. So 2 days after the cafe visit.
Dun dun.
After going through all the comments, thanks for the advice, I decided to send my mother an email letting her know I would absolutely not be paying for her new
Which would
place
be the
she
edit.
plans to move into, and then I'll stop paying for her rent altogether. I told her she clearly doesn't respect me or the work I put in for me to be in the position to give her the money that I do. Also told her that I would not be financially supporting her in any way. A few hours after I sent the email, my phone starts blowing up. Calls over and over again. I still didn't really want to talk to her, so I ignored them all. A little while later, I get a call from my friend Dave, except when I answer the phone, it's my mum. I found out later from Dave that she showed up at the bike shop he works at and made up some story about her locking her purse with her phone and keys in the car and needing to call me for a ride. She immediately goes off on me about how ungrateful I am and she is disgusted by the email I sent, etc. She told me it's my duty to make sure she's well cared for and comfortable, as she is the reason I'm here in the first place. The worst part was when she told me that if she knew I was going to end up this way, that she wouldn't have put her life on hold for the last 2 decades in order to have me, and that I cost her her job and my dad and a bunch of her life plans. I couldn't even get a word in with all her yelling. The last thing she said was something along the lines of, "You need to have a come to Jesus moment and realize how much you are hurting your mother. I've already packed up most of my stuff and have spent a ton of time setting this move up. I expect the 8,500 before the weekend is over in a cashier's check, so let me know when you have it." And then she hung up. I don't think I've ever been so mad in my entire life. She pretty much just told me I need to make up for everything she missed out on in order to have me by giving her money and making sure she's taken care of. I called her back and she tried to start talking, and I don't remember exactly what I said because I was so angry, but I basically told her to shut the fuck up and let me talk, but with more swearing and yelling. I'm usually pretty calm and would never swear at my mom. I would never even swear near her. And I know I shouldn't have said that, but I wasn't thinking straight. Can't relate. We fucking swear at our parents here.
Yeah, that's a recent development in my case. My mom is a scary woman, or at the very least was a scary woman. And I would not swear at her until a few years ago. Actually, I swore once at her as a teenager because I thought something was absolutely bullshit. And that's how I ended up packing a suitcase and being threatened to be kicked out of my house. Yeah, I gotta love being 17.
I told her she better find another place to live or pay her rent herself because she wasn't getting another dime from me. I turned my phone off after that because I didn't want to deal with any more calls or texts. I eventually needed to use my phone, so I turned it back on and just blocked her number. I saw that I had some calls, messages from her, but I didn't want to look at them. This morning I got a call from the front desk at my building telling me that my mum had tried to get up to my room, but I had already told the elevator staff/security to take her off my guest list. Apparently she caused quite the fuss when they wouldn't let her up. She's blocked on my phone now, so I haven't heard from her today yet, but I expect her to blow up on me again for what happened this morning. I think she's probably in denial and thinks I'll cave and pay for her new place. I'm worried about what she's going to do when the deadline for her to pay for her new place comes up and I refuse to give her any money. The move-in date is pretty soon. I'm sure she has to pay it pretty soon. I'm actually surprised she hasn't had to pay already. So that's going to cause a massive shitstorm. I'm really, really worried about what she's going to do. Thanks again for all the advice. I'm here for Mum's crash out.
Yeah.
Go off, Queen. It's entertaining.
Yeah, I need to know a couple of things about this situation. I need to know how old this guy is because he both reads as, because of the position he's in, he
24.
24?
Sister, 26.
Because I was going to say he reads as like late 20s, early 30s, but also 18. Because it's like,
Oh, 24 with this much money, he's a finance bro. So he'll always sound 18.
that's fair. I also need to know ethnicity because this definitely sounds like
Come to Jesus moment, they are absolutely white.
disagree because of the sheer amount of very Christian Chinese people that there are.
Okay.
Also, this all seems it's a very common thing in a lot of Asian cultures that you are meant to be taking care of your parents when you have the ability to do so.
I agree.
And this reads very much that way.
But there's none of that in here, though. Like, he's described none of that.
His mom
it's-
is very much seeming like. Actually, there's also very little divorce in the Asian community, so probably not Asian.
Well, maybe he died.
How would he have costed his mum his dad if he died?
These kinds of mums are cunts. Maybe he just got sick.
And
And she's
she's
like,
blaming
yeah,
it on him.
Yeah. You gave your dad cancer because you're such a shit son. Like, cunts like that do that. Update 3, the 8th of August, 2015. So this was 2 days after the cafe incident and 5 days since the original post. Worried my mum might try to use my personal info for financial gain. What can I do to prevent this? So even though this says update 3, it's actually been posted to a different subreddit, r/personal finance. I very recently decided to cut my mother off completely. She had made plans to move into a new apartment, assuming that I would be paying for it. A little less than a year ago, I decided to move to a bigger place after my lease ended. This was right around the time my mother was moving to San Francisco. She really liked my old place and suggested she should just move in. My landlord wanted to increase the rent after my lease was up, but she agreed to keep it the same if I prepaid for a year. The plan was for my mum to pay me rent monthly, and that never ended up happening. Now my mum just assumes that I will be paying her rent. She made plans to move into a nicer place and sent me an email saying that she needed a check for $8,500 to cover the move-in cost. Some things came up that week involving my sister and my mother, and I've decided to completely cut her off. No rent money and no money for anything else. She's furious, of course, and has gone off the deep end. I'm worried that once she realizes that I'm not going to give in, she might try using my personal info in order to get a loan out or get money somehow. I've also been told that California has some sort of laws that might mean she can take me to court and force me to continue paying her rent. I was wondering if this was true and what would qualify her for this. Original OP receives useful advice in the comment, lock credit, inform landlord, and hire a lawyer to check for a liability under any laws, etc. Also, don't worry about California. Its filial piety laws are currently undermined by another section that says no relatives are to be forced to pay for an elder's care by the state. Section 4400 is still in the books, but it is currently being undermined by California Welfare and Institutions Code 12350. So, San Francisco, California. So we were looking at America. We weren't sure where we were before. And we do know that there is a large cohort of Asian communities, particularly Chinese communities in San Francisco, based on what I've learned from Ali Wong. But it's good that he was at the very least, able to make sure that there was going to be no further fallout from the fallout of all the garbage with his sister.
Yeah, realistically, he needs to just cover his ass as much as physically possible, including but not limited to, because from the way this mum sounds, you need the way to cover the last will and testament. She sounds unhinged as shit. Leave her $1. If you leave somebody $1, they can't claim that you are ignoring them or that you forgot to add them to the will.
That depends on where you are. That might not necessarily be the case for California. Like, we know that that's a thing here. And even then, it's not a cut and dry thing. Like, you can make that argument, but whether or not the judge accepts it, or the registrar, as we call them here.
Yes, but the intent is clear in that act that you intended to leave them out rather than having actively forgotten them, passively forgotten them. Everything needs to be done to separate this exceptionally rich man-child from his emotionally manipulative and abusive, from the sounds of things, at the very least financially abusive mother. And sister for that matter.
Yeah, that bitch can fucking bake herself out of her own problems.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
Yeah.
They can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, I was...
With a diamond-encrusted dildo by the sounds of things.
I've been reflecting on it in the week since we first read this story. because as you can see, we're wearing different clothes. And that is because I ran out of storage. And so it cut us off last.
And I completely forgot what the story was until Courtney reminded me of it.
In some of the clips when I was cutting them for socials, it was talking about, well, we were talking about how, like, my sister, I'm stalking her around the house. And I meant, like, if this woman was my sister, as opposed to who my sisters actually are. For the most part, my sisters wouldn't have the balls to try and pull this shit on me to begin with. But it did make me think that when it comes to the hog tying and shit, Rebecca is the only one who I wouldn't be able to overpower to pull that off.
I reckon I could.
Yeah, I reckon you could. I still reckon Lacey could get out of it. But either way, that made me think, who wins in a fight, Rebecca or Lacey?
Like, as they are now, or peak Lacey, peak Rebecca?
Oh, fuck. Lacey'd be dead if it was peak Rebecca.
I don't know. There was a point where Lacey used to work out, be PT'd, and, like, almost she was going to at least one form of martial art every week.
Okay, depends on how skilled she got at that martial art. Maybe. Rebecca was a fucking rugby player.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, fair.
yeah. And then she hit 30, got diagnosed with diabetes, her hormones leveled out, and now she's pretty fucking chill. So
Yeah, even still. Current Rebecca. Current is definitely Rebecca. Peak could be thrown up in the air.
I don't know. Rebecca's almost 40 now, man.
Lacey's only like 2 years younger than her.
Lacey isn't 38.
Oh, sorry. I thought Rebecca was 38.
No, Rebecca
Okay.
turns 40 in a week.
She's 36 with a bunch of issues with most of her joints.
Yes, currently playing netball because neither of our families are really ones to do the shit that we're supposed to manage our health. We'll see you next time in the Naughty Corner. Thanks for joining us for Quarters in Session. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.